Okay, so let's swiftly move on to the first panel of this afternoon, titled NFTs and Games in 2022. What's next in this industry? Please give a warm welcome to the stage to Max, Evil, Paul, Jari, and Tom.
All right. Thanks for this opportunity to be on the stage, and I'm happy to be with all of you guys. And right now, during the next 25 minutes, we will speak about NFT gaming in this year, particular one, what have been done, and what is going to be next. So let's divide maybe our today this time for 3 stages. First of all, we will introduce ourselves, who we are, what we are doing. Then we'll talk about this year particular one and our vision about the next year, for example, what is going to be next. So let me briefly introduce about myself, and we will go one by one. Okay, my name is Max Vysochanskiy. Actually, I'm Ukrainian. First of all, I would love to thank you to all of you guys who supported Ukraine during this hard time. And I have 2 big hobbies in my life. It is gaming and blockchain. I'm in traditional game development business for like 7 years. We created different games in PC, consoles, and when we heard about NFTs, blockchain, we've been super excited and jumping into this board with creating AAA quality games for Web3 space. So this is about me, and let's move next with very cool person with the name Evil. I'm really excited to hear about what you are doing and who you are actually.
Hey, so I'm Evil. I'm CEO of Evil Plan Inc. We are building the world's first DAO sports league, starting with our first game called Secret Fight Club. So in Secret Fight Club, there are 10 teams. Each team is a DAO. We call them a DAOjo. Each DAOjo configures an AI fighter. So they set the strategy, the loadout for the fighter, and then the DAOjos fight it out on stream for cash and prizes. So users can watch each fight. There's one fight happening at a time, like UFC or NASCAR, so there's no fragmented audience. They can play a fantasy sport for fiat or crypto alongside, or they can purchase an NFT to join one of the DAOjos. As a DAOjo member, you get governance over the team itself, how it operates as part of the game, configuration of the fighter, and pro rata into the rewards, which come from seasonal prize pools, as well as all the traditional sort of sports franchise monetization mechanisms you expect, like sponsorships, endorsements, merchandise, and so forth. So very excited to be here. Thank you.
Cool.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jari. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Supremacy Games based in Helsinki, Finland. I have a 25 plus years of history in gaming and media. Started with pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons, then moved on to computer games, short stint at media. I was the editor-in-chief of official PlayStation Magazine and PC Gamer in Finland. Got back into mobile games 7 years ago. I have a very experienced team, 10 years on the average in gaming business. Some have 15 years in mobile games. So we started this company with the aim of doing free-to-play mobile games. 1.5 years ago, we focused on Web3. We wanted to find something that would make sense for a mass market audience. And we are currently working on a game called Apex Kings NFT Racing.
Nice.
Cool. Hello, everyone. My name is Paul Gadi. I'm based out of Toronto, Canada, but originally from Manila. And I'm a game developer who has been making games since 2004, I would say. So I've kind of seen the transitions from consoles, from movements to free-to-play to other parts. And I guess one thing I would want to contribute to this discussion is a broader view on how games will affect the industry. I'm also part of an accelerator called Kernel, wherein we have people who are not just part of the game industry, but also part of decentralized science, governance. And I feel like what we'll be talking about in games will affect everything. It's the gamification of everything. So happy to contribute what I know here to everyone and to the panel.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tom. I'm from Estonia. I've been in the blockchain space for 5 years. I'm the founder of IQ Labs. At IQ Labs, we are building financial infrastructure for NFTs. And one of our main products, the IQ protocol, is a decentralized protocol for renting NFTs without the need for collateral and without any risk of default for NFT owners, so that NFT owners, those who buy them for investment, for speculation, can monetize them and earn yield, while game players can pay a small fee to rent them and play to earn.
All right. That was the first part. Thank you for introduction to all of you guys. And let's move to the next one, the biggest question, what have been done in this year, right? NFT, gaming, and I propose the same one, like one by one, your opinion about that topic. I will start quickly about myself, right? What my vision, my opinion about that this year. And as you know, guys, this year has been a little bit hard one for crypto, right? We see bear market. And that is why we saw less companies, less projects in this space, because less noise, I will say, right? And that, in my opinion, this is even good, because many companies before that, they jumped into this space on the hype, and they wanted just simply to make money, to raise the money, and that's it, so right now, I see we have less of those companies. It is harder maybe for traditional, for good companies to develop their games, because not so much investment is coming, but again, at another side, as I said, less noise, so you can stand out and to show that you are really different, that you are really a real one. So this is my first opinion about that. Secondly, I would say that play to earn really is right now. A lot of players doesn't want to hear about that, because it's brought a lot of bad reputation for the industry. However, it is like we are involved developing this market. So this is at another hand, it is good. So we are switching from play to earn. Many people understood that if you are maybe the new player to the game, you can make money, all right? But if you will jump later on, there must be some really good economics, must be tokenomics to make money. And that's where the struggling, a lot of projects are coming. They cannot make good economics and tokenomics. So that's why play to earn, I will say, I don't see the good future in that for the industry. And I spoke approximately 3 months ago at Solana House in summertime, and I say that, look guys, look at the top games in the blockchain, how many players per day or per month they have comparing to the traditional one, even mobile one. And data is really like disaster. You can see that there are like maybe 200, 300 players per day in the best scenario for the best games. And on the mobile games, you can see millions of players per day. So the problem is, again, that there are not so many players are coming to Web3 games. Yeah, there is a huge potential for that, but still a lot of problems for them to jump to the game. So this is what we saw in this year. Again, less projects, less players in this field. But again, we saw there are really good technical companies like Immutable X and other ones are bringing technical solutions for the game developers. And big studios also starting to think about that, hey, maybe we will need to invest in the future and make a couple games in the future for that. So this is like my summary, my vision about that. What is your opinion about that?
I have a lot of thoughts about this.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep it a little tight. So, I think one thing to remember is that the games industry right now, the traditional games industry, is $250 billion a year and growing. And that is bigger than all other forms of entertainment combined. Movies, television, sports, you name it, you wrap it all together, games are bigger. And I think it's important to realize that gamers right now are spending that money for entertainment. They are spending it for fun. They don't care about whether or not they own or don't own things in and of itself. They don't care about making $1 for playing Call of Duty versus making $0 for playing actual Call of Duty. They are there because those products are entertaining, they're fun, and their friends are there. And that's really, I think, what Web3 is up against, just to like sort of set the playing field. I think Web3 and blockchain technology represents the single greatest opportunity to advance gaming in a generation, since probably the advent of downloadable content. But I do think, and I echo you, that the games industry writ large has really effed it up. We have basically told gamers that either NFTs are a confusing value proposition and some form of cash grab, in the case of like Ubisoft, Square Enix, et cetera, or we have convinced them that play to Ponzi is the new model. And I think in many respects, when you talk to a lot of founders, what disturbs me, and I think what we're trying to do very differently, is you ask them, hey, tell me about your game, and you get 10 minutes on tokenomics and yield curves and all this other stuff. You get 0 about gameplay. And I think really for me, this past year was sort of sad in a way. But to your point, I think it has cleared the field. Gamers have spoken extremely loudly. They're very clear about what they want. And I think for game studios that are interested in developing fun games and using Web3 as monetization, or to enable new use cases, or to make things possible that were difficult or impossible in traditional platforms, that's where I think the real opportunity is.
I agree with you. Actually, my question will be also this year also I think showed that a lot of players played Web3 games because they want to make money, right? But if you will take out that element that you will make some tokens or make some money, questions come, and will you play that game? Most likely, no.
I think that, and I'll be very brief, I think that the problem with play to earn, even if it works, right, is that you're basically building something like a financial instrument and then gamifying it. And if your whole game boils down to a yield curve, then you have no stickiness with your audience. Because I'm going to play your game because you give me 5%, and he makes a game that gives me 6%, and now I'm playing his game. And he makes a game, or she makes a game that gives me 10%, and now I'm on to their game. That's not really like what you want in terms of a healthy ecosystem. That's not how you build World of Warcraft. That's not how you build Borderlands. That's not how you build GTA, right? It's just you're going to build something that maybe you make some money and you're in and out, and that could be your philosophy. But if you're looking to build the next Blizzard, if you're looking to build the next Bethesda, if you're looking to build the next Square Enix or whatever, I think you need to take a much longer term and more holistic view of your audience.
Cool. All right, let's move to the next. Your opinion about this year.
I'd like to point out that it's not just Web3 games that are experiencing this winter. Normal games like mobile games, they've been suffering probably for the first time ever for 10 years because of the ongoing war between Meta and Apple. Yep. But when it comes to Web3 games, I think this year is the turning point where we are moving from the first generation of really simple Web3 games into more mature and more like professional games. And in my opinion, I think the gameplay is now going first into the games instead of the monetization or earning something, and that's the way it should be.
Content is the king, right? So this has always been, and
that's right.
It will always be, right?
Cool, yeah, and I agree very much with what Evil and Jari said around the fun should be there. And I guess just to give a little bit of also a view from outside, or stepping a little bit out of the gaming space, one thing we should also take note of is, as Jari mentioned, Meta and the things that are happening there, right? Like Meta is advocating for the Metaverse, which is, I think, also affects all of us. Meta has traditionally been, I would say, one of the companies that was able to influence how games move. Like we remember social games a few years back, so that kind of changed how games were created. And now I think Meta changing from Facebook to what they are today was a big thing that happened this year. And as game developers, we need to know what that means. Like, what is the Metaverse, and what is VR, what is AI in the context of what is happening now for us moving on to 2023.
And there's been a steep decline for Web3 in terms of active players, and play-to-earn hype is dying. But a lot of the reasons have been covered on this panel. Like one of them is that there aren't that many games in Web3 with immersive game experiences and gameplay, so that you could actually enjoy playing it without the additional incentive of earning. But I expect that to change shortly, so that when there are actually games out that you would play as entertainment and also have the opportunity to earn. So not play to earn, but perhaps play and earn where you can enjoy the game and also have some type of long-term ownership of assets, and the ability to potentially earn is, I think, where the turning point will come, especially with user experience improving. And those are the main issues, in addition to tokenomics that I think Max mentioned. I think the current tokenomics models for games that have been used this year in 2022, most of them not sustainable, and the double token model, single game, single token model, and so on. Personally, I like the idea of not a single game, single token, but perhaps a game studio or a game publisher and a token for all games which are interoperable.
All right, thank you. And we are moving to the last part of our right now speech regarding what is actually going to be next. I agree with you that right now I think we are standing at the critical point where we will change the gaming industry is changing right now, right? Because many players started asking questions, okay, I'm investing my time into the game. What I'm getting in return? I'm investing my time, my money, and what's next? I've been like playing games like for a lot when I was young, right? Imagine if I can move my character or my weapons or my rewards to somebody else, so I can sell to somebody else, or I can give to my son right now. What the value will be? It will be tremendous one. So right now, I think the future is bright one for Web3, but we also understood today during the other speakers, they pointed out to really big technical problems because we wanted to bring traditional gamers to the Web3, so must be full infrastructure must be ready for that. And there are technical problems for that. In my opinion, in the next year, we will see those resolutions. For gamers, for game studios, will be way easy to bring Web2 players to Web3 games. So I believe that in the next year, we will see this technical solution for, as I say, for game studios and for the players. And as soon as it will happen, more and more indie, small game studios will try to experiment and test with their new titles. Plus, some big companies will start to also to look at this industry and starting to create their games. And in my opinion, everybody's, a lot of companies start to understand that players are the most important key in the games. Without players, you cannot have success, right, in the games. So maybe here will be good to share your profit like a company with your players. 2 days ago, Call of Duty, during the 3 days, they got a revenue $800 million. $800 million. Where the profit went? To the company. And that's it. Imagine if 10% of that profit will go to the players who owns, for example, characters. That's it. So this is how I see. What is your opinion about that?
Well, I can mainly speak to kind of what we're doing and how we're thinking about it. I would suggest that the way we're thinking about it is certainly not the only way to think about it, but we're sort of approaching this in a little bit of a different way than most people. We're building a game around a spectator experience. So we're fundamentally changing the way in which people engage around a game. Our target is initially gamers and then sports fans. But in doing that, we're kind of looking at two things. One is we have no tokenomics, right? So that concept doesn't exist. We provide rewards, but it's more revenue at scale. So we're really replicating in a lot of ways sort of Google's model, frankly, right? Your value as an individual user in Google's ecosystem is nominal, but your aggregate value is large, to your point. So if you can take some of that and distribute it among sort of semi-large groups of people, you can actually create a meaningful incentive structure that's interesting. I think from our point of view in a technical side, which is maybe the other side of this, it's our philosophy that it's very important to reach gamers outside of the Web3 space, right? That is the audience, you know, and for us, sports fans, even beyond that. In order to do that, we think it's important to actually push the Web3 technology all the way to the background, right? This isn't about convincing people that they want to use an NFT or that they like a blockchain or that they need a MetaMask or any of that. They should not have to understand anything about Web3 to engage in your game. We also feel that's important on the business side. So for our game, we want to engage with brands around sponsorships and endorsements. Equally important, I think it's if you're a game studio thinking about partners, your partners should not have to understand anything about Web3 technology or tokenomics or whatever. You should be able to approach them with standard business, KPIs that they can intuit and they can price, and then you can reach an agreement around that.
Okay, thank you. We have like 3 minutes, so maybe 1 minute for each person.
Okay, I'm pretty confident about the Web3 games space. I'm always thinking about the mobile games about a decade ago. They tried to do with premium titles where you pay like 1 or 2 euros, and it didn't work, even though the price is ridiculously cheap. But then it was the evolution was free-to-play games, and I'm very confident that someone will find a way how this works with NFTs and Web3s, and then it's going to spread like wildfire.
Okay, cool, thank you.
I guess I also want to focus on the point that Evil mentioned earlier, that a lot of these games probably will not follow what we expect them to follow. Like, I like that you guys are looking at spectators and gaming. So this divergent kind of, I guess, game design is what we need. I would suggest people take a look at what some of the folks are doing, for example, with the Loot project around decentralized storytelling. And I feel like a lot of the conversations right now are around ownership and verb to earn. I do feel like in the next year, this will change because I think the verb to earn model is just a model that people are just experimenting with to find the next thing. I feel like, again, that we should look at the bigger metaverse. Probably VR and AI might be things that will also spring up next year. So no one really knows, I feel, but it's good to take a look at what's happening outside of our space.
Okay.
I'm fairly confident that the next 10 million, 100 million people to come into crypto will be from gaming, and I think interoperability will be a pretty big focus going forward. How assets could be interoperable so they can be used in different games, and your digital identity can be represented as an NFT, or player stats can be ported into different games. So this will create really gamify the whole experience and put them on the blockchain rails to be potentially monetized. Pretty much what NFTs and blockchain is doing for gaming is the same that it's doing with the financial industry. So limiting the centralized institutions and empowering the individual.
All right, this is it. Thank you a lot for your time, and thank you for your answers and for your time and contribution as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.